Carlton Town TV, sponsored by Aerocom. I'm here in the Carlton Town committee room for a very special interview with our outgoing first team joint manager, Tommy Brookbanks. Tommy, thanks ever so much for joining us today.
You're welcome, man.
Fabulous. We've spoken during the season, particularly in light of Roger's passing, about how you've been here so many years. Lots of our fans will only know that from reading the club history.
Yeah.
But what I don't know, and they certainly won't know, is what it was really like back in the day. Because as a club, we've not been brilliant at keeping historical records or and the like. And so what I really wanted to do, and I'm really grateful you've come down to do it today, Tommy, is to talk to you about your career, both as a player and as a manager, particularly with regards to Carlton Town.
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
Kind of let some of it I know, a lot of it I don't, but let the people out there, we've got so many more people following us these days.
Yeah, we have. It's excellent. Yeah,
really know what's in the spirit of this club. So you joined us as a player, I understand, in your mid-20s. So tell us, first of all, about your career and what it was that got you to come and play for Carlton Town in the first place. I
was Clifton All Whites right through from the age of 6. It was always, back in them days, it was Clifton All Whites and Parkhead. They were the two teams. Played with them right through. And then it was completely different non-league scene in them days.
Yeah.
The Notts Alliance was the king. There was the Notts Alliance Prem, Notts Alliance 1, then Notts Amateur. There was no pyramid of any description. So Nottingham was a complete hotbed.
So when you say completely different, Notts Alliance Prem, are we talking about kind of semi-pro players who are
the best players in Nottingham was in the Notts Alliance. Everybody in Nottingham. You'd got Notts Police, who were top draw players, Raleigh, Baseford, Hucknall Town, which was Hucknall Colliery back then, Boots. Yep. It was all the firms who sponsored the teams, and they were massive teams. And I mean, you know, they're as good as, probably better than this lot in Step 4.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was that good. It was that strong. And all the boys then as well, they played Sunday mornings. So, and that was equally as strong. You know, it was a real hotbed. You knew who was playing against. You only went round the corner and you thought, oh God, I've got him again today or whatever, you know, but you'd always have a beer after. So, yeah, I think I was at Players and great ground to play on. One of the best in Nottingham. One of the best that's ever been in Nottingham, Players was. And George Ulley was manager, good friend of mine. I'd played with him a few years before at Baseford. And he got the sack. I thought he'd got harshly done by. And
this was at Players, yeah?
Yeah, and I was a bit principled then, you know, and a bit stubborn. And I says, I'm not playing for these. And by then, a lot of my AD Bulwell pals was playing for a team called Snenton.
Okay.
And the chairman was Roger Smith.
Okay.
The year previous, we'd won the Midland Cup, AD Bulwell, the Sunday Midland Cup, which was the biggest in the Midlands. And a lot of my teammates were there, but I stuck with George at Players until this moment. And it was halfway through the season. They was in Notts Alliance 1, because Roger was just bringing Snenton through.
Okay.
He was quite a wealthy insurance guy. You know, Bill was there as Bill Stokehold as vice chairman.
Okay.
And they needed a goal scorer to try and get him over the line. I come in about Christmas and we won the league. Got to pre-season and it was about June and Roger gave me a ring and says, can't get hold of my manager. And Glenn, good lad. And I went, what do you mean you can't get hold of him? Well, last we've heard he's walking his sheepdog. But he's not, we can't get hold of him and we don't know. I said, but it's training next week. So I said, well, what do you want to do? He says, well, will you take it? So I went, what, the training? He says, yeah. And I thought, something's going off here. So we had the first couple of training sessions and they're all my mates anyway. So a couple of new lads come. And then we went right through pre-season, no manager.
So when is this then, Tommy?
This was around about 93, I would say, Alan.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I says to Roger, what's the crack here? I says, you know, we ain't got a manager. Well, will you take it till we get one, Tom? I says, well, I might as well at the minute because we've gone through pre-season. So we started the season as me as caretaker manager.
Okay.
And we won the first 8.
On your own?
Neil Cooper was with me.
Neil Cooper.
Yeah, right. So we won the first 8. I was top scorer. We were top of the league. And then Roger said to me, he'd got a couple of lads from Mansfield. This is great, fine. So I met them, and it was the handover. You know, you've got a great side here.
Yeah.
I think they'll win the league anyway. I says, but do me a favour, please, lads. I says, I've missed my holidays pre-season because there's been no gaffer. My daughter's 4, my son's 2. I will be going away February. We're taking them to Butlins as a replacement for missing his holidays.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to honour that weekend. I don't want it holding against me. You know, I don't go away in season. I do now as a manager, but I do as a player. And
I'm going to mention that.
And we're top of the league, and it's going well.
Yeah.
And then we got to February. They got Baseford at home. I went away, and Neil Cooper, who went away, and come back for the game. My missus says, no chance, not after what you've done all pre-season. You ain't going back. Yeah. So they lost 2-0, and then come back to training, I think, on the Thursday. I sensed a bit of an atmosphere, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Okay. From the management team?
Yeah. They just weren't looking at me.
Okay. Yeah,
so, you know, I know as a manager, they don't look at you.
Yeah.
There's something not right. Yeah. And it's just meet at Rolls Royce Saturday. Rolls Royce is a big club then. Let's say at 1:45. Not only was I not in the team, I went in as a sub.
Okay.
Right. So I'm like, well, that's really disrespectful. You know, top scorer, done all that for the club. Nobody said out behind the scenes, by the way. I says, I'm not, you know, I'm really disappointed in this. Neil Cooper had come back, was left out as well, who was one of their best players.
And was it in both your cases because he'd gone away during the week? Yeah,
that's the way it was. And so Neil left straight away.
Yeah.
The club let come in for both of us. You can't take 2 because there's 7-day rule. And I says, you know what? Respect for Bill and Raj, I'll see it out till the end of the season. So I said to the management, look, it was disgrace what you've done. Not happy with it. But I'll stick it out till the end of the season, get us up, and then I'm off.
Okay.
So I was sub for the next 2 games, come on, scored. And then end of the season, we finished runners up because the pyramid was then opening.
Yeah.
So Central Midlands was here. At that time, there was in the background Albert Graves, who's still alive, bless him, Jumbo Jennings, Dennis, who have all passed. They were doing the old. There was 2 pitches here then.
Yeah, it's where the ring road is, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So we got the 2 pitches, and this one they had to get ready for the standard of Central Midlands, and the showers had to be separate. Because bear in mind, in them days we all showered together or bathed together, the big bath. You know, so they were doing great work behind the scenes, and they went up, and then there was Roger, I think Bill, Gary, Rod says, look, you know, we need to tie up on a deal next season. I says, no chance.
And so did you leave?
Yeah, I says, not a prayer. I says, I told you what I'd do. The man of principle, you've let me down badly. I'm going, but wish you all the best. There was no real hard feelings other than I just didn't agree with what they did.
So where did he go then?
So Roger Dawkins, who's a legend up Town, good friend of mine. Neil Cooper was then at Rolls Royce. Yeah. With 1 or 2 of my old colleagues, Wayne Lear, Kev Sims, Paul Fizzell, and I joined Rolls Royce. Okay. And I had a great season. Really, really enjoyed it. You know, no management baggage. I was taking the team pre-season. I was super fit. My Achilles had cleared up. I was feeling good. We had a great season. I think we finished top 5 in Not So Light's Prem, which was, you know, again, a good finish. Really enjoyed it. And
so did you play against Nenton that season then?
No, because they'd gone up to the Central Midlands.
Oh, of course. So that's the year they'd gone in there.
So by this stage, Nenton had finished about 8th or 9th, which they did well for a season, you know, in the Central Midlands. And so then we come, because in them days, we had the old dressing rooms and a load of porter cabins as other dressing rooms. And they'd literally rent the pitch out 3 times a day, both pitches.
Yeah.
So I think we come up on a Saturday midday with Rolls Royce, and we played somebody out there, and Big Bill's lying on the bank watching us. Okay. Yeah, the ladies are there. My wife and Neil Cooper's wife, Chantal. The kids are running about. We've played, and they come off, and Bill says, "I've been waiting for you." So, "Oh, good to see you, Bill. You know, you okay?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I want you to take over as manager." So I says, "What?" He says, "I want you to take over as manager." So I says, "Your manager's over there." Yeah, he says, "I'm going to sack him."
Okay.
And it was, you know, pretty grim. So Neil Cooper said, "Leave it to me, I'll sort them out." Because Neil really, he held grudges.
Okay.
So Neil walked over to them and said, "Look, you're sacked." You know, until he got there, he says, "I don't care what Bill's telling you, I'm telling you, off you go." And because we were quite protected towards Bill, he was a really, really nice man.
Yeah. So I understand.
And
of course, we had his family here.
Yeah, wonderful man.
Last year.
And so I says, "God, Bill, come on." I says, "When's your first game?" He says, "This afternoon." Against Arnold Town, Ian McCulloch's Arnold Town.
Okay, was this a league game or friendly?
It was a friendly, the last friendly.
Okay.
And so I says, "Look, we'll do the friendly. Let me think about it." Obviously, there were about 15 players, about 10 followed Gary Hart, which is, I get.
Yeah.
You know, Gary wasn't treated well. It wasn't the right way to do it. Whichever way you look at it, football is a really, really cruel and horrible game. And
it certainly can be,
yeah. And if you're on the end, the bad end of it, it's not very nice. So I really felt sorry for him, but it was what it was. And, you know, I was loyal to Bill because I really liked Bill. I knew Roger was still involved somewhere, but Roger was going through a divorce, a really painful one.
Yeah.
So we played that afternoon. I managed to, again, ring all the AD ball lads up, and we got a team out. It's so much easier when you play a manager to ring mates up when you're young, you know. And I was 29, 30. And we beat Arnold 1-0. Me and Coops had played his second game in a day. And we took the job. And Bill said, "It's £10 a game." I said, "Right, okay." And then that's how my time at Sneinton started.
So you took over literally a week before the start of the season in the second year in the Central Mids.
Yes, yeah.
Having been poached that afternoon.
Yeah, that's right.
By Bill.
Yeah.
Having been a player previously, but having left.
Correct. Yeah.
Did your that 8-game spell you had as kind of manager in the when you were player manager at Sneinton, did that give you a bit of a buzz for management? Had you thought about being a manager before you did it on that occasion?
I always thought strongly about the game. I was a deep thinker about the game. I was always critical in my own mind if managers didn't get the preparation right or the tactics weren't what I thought they should be.
Yeah.
So I was probably a deep thinker.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking back now, it was a bit of a shock getting it so quick. Certainly the first stint in 8 games, so young. But I'd guess, looking back now, I was going to end up a manager, you know, at some stage. But you can never pick your time. There's no time that's right. There's no time that's wrong. You know, you have to take the job when it comes if you want to. And I say, then we was in the Central Midlands 1.
So that's you and Neil.
Me and Neil Cooper. He was the first assistant manager. Yeah. Great lad. One of my best mates, still is. And so we had to do some recruiting. My nephew, Simon Newell, who's a club legend here, over 400 appearances. We sold him to Upnall in the end.
Okay.
He was 16. He come into the side. My brother, Johnny Brookbanks,
yeah.
top player, was at Forest. Absolute class. Wayne Lear in goal.
Johnny, we see down here. Okay?
Yeah, Johnny.
He played for us.
Yeah, absolute class. Yeah, there were some great players. And I think we finished 7th. And it was a great season.
Dick, and were you still playing then?
I was playing.
Yeah.
Dicko, the club legend.
Yeah.
That was his first full season. He'd actually played with me that year when I left Sneinton.
Okay.
So, but his first full season with me was that year.
Yeah.
And he banged about 13. He banged 13 every year. He was class. And Dave Marshall. I can go on forever. Basford in goal. It was just a top side. Finished 7th. We had a great year. A lot of good banter because we were all so young, you know. And yeah, we got through that.
You clearly enjoyed it. What was it like that first year when you're the manager and you've got to tell your mates, as you just said, you're not in the team or you're not playing with them?
Just do it properly.
Yeah.
Just tell them. I mean, there's no other way of doing it, even now, you know. Yeah. Just be honest with people. There's too many young managers now who do it by text or whatever social media they've got. Yeah. It's rubbish. You know, at the end of the day, if you're leaving a player out, just tell them. Yeah. You know, be straight with them because you don't want to burn bridges. And don't forget, you leave that player out, he'll go and tell his mate what you've done by text. Yeah. He'll go and tell his mate what you've done. And then when you want to bring players in, eventually you'll run out of players. And then the second season, we went up. I think we finished 3rd because the pyramid was really opening up. Yeah. There was the Central Midlands Supreme now, which was a blockbuster of a league, you know, Gedling Town and all them. And we went up. And yeah, I think at that time, we had a few bits to do to the ground, but what they did, they gave you 3 years to get it right, you know, so we went to the Central Midlands Supreme.
So your second season in, you and Neil, you get promotion to the Supreme Division, and then it's within a couple of years, you finish in a promotion position again. Yeah. But we're denied it.
No, one year after, so Neil left. Yeah. Neil's words, you're doing it anyway. I need to bring my family up. I said, fine. We still obviously seen him socially. So I brought Dave Nern in, who I played with. Another one of my best friends, still is now. Dave Nern come in. First year Supreme. We consolidated, did really well. I mean, the key was to stay up because it was such a monster league. Yeah. You know, and we were way under everybody's budgets at £10 a game. It's ridiculous, you know. And
familiar story at Carlton.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it was good to stay up. Second season, we went a bit higher. The third season, 3 were going up, and we actually bettered Gedling Town, Sutton, and all them. Finished 3rd, and we couldn't go up. Because we got no floodlights.
And this would have been a promotion to the Northern Counties.
Absolutely, Northern Counties won. Yeah. So I spoke to Bill. By this stage, Nick Carlton was at the club with his Sunday side, MSR News Group. Yeah. So I'd done a deal the year before via Ray Walker, who played for me, who was good friends with Mick.
Jamie Walker's dad.
Yes. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So he said, look, we have to ground on a Sunday. Nick's a good man, come and meet him. So I met Mick at Old Moor Lodge at Strelly. Usually looked scruffy. Yeah. You know, I thought, God, he ain't got a pot to piss in, but obviously I was wrong. And we had a good meeting, really got on with him well. Hit it off straight away. And he got the pitch on a Sunday under the proviso that the likes of me, Simon Newell, Dicko and that would play for him. And he put a few quid into Snenton as well. Okay. So there was always provisos with me.
Yeah, always a deal.
So I started turning out on Sunday mornings, again, much to Tina's displeasure. Yeah. And this is the man Bill was. Roger had left by now as well because of his divorce. Paul Shelton was heavily involved in the club, bless him. And I says to Bill and Paul, look, lads, there's going to be 2 scenarios here. I'm going to have to go to another club because I don't want another season and then with this team and can't go up again. Or would you mind if I spoke to Mick about coming in as chairman? And straight away, Bill said, get on with it, Tom. Just like that. They were his words, get on with it, Tom. So I rang Mick up. I says, Mick, there's no good beating about the bush. I want you to become chairman. You have some right questions, you do. And I says, I says, look, we've got to get floodlights up. We'll eventually have to get bar and dressing rooms up. But for now, we need floodlights and we need them next season. He says, how long have I got? I said, about 2 hours. And
so we had the manager appointing the chairman.
Yeah, it was a bit like that.
That's normally the other way around.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while. Anyway, whatever. And so Mick come on board as chairman. Yeah. Bill was vice chairman. Paul was secretary. And it might have been the following season, we got Phil Bignell in. Floodlights went up. Yeah. and then either the following season or the season after, we won it in style by a number of points. And Northern Counties beckoned